Hi, I'm Kenneth Marcus, Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights at the U.S. Department of Education. The Office for Civil Rights, or OCR, is a federal law enforcement agency tasked with protecting the civil rights of students in schools that receive federal funding. OCR enforces Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 prohibiting disability discrimination, Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 prohibiting disability discrimination by public entities including schools, Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibiting race, color, and national origin discrimination, Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sex, and other civil rights statutes. The purpose of this video is to address recent challenges that have been reported in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. OCR recognizes that educational institutions are working to address the needs of students posed by this national emergency. We know that educators and parents are striving to provide a sense of normality while seeking ways to ensure that all students have access to meaningful educational opportunities, even under these difficult circumstances. School districts and post-secondary schools have significant latitude and authority to take necessary actions to protect the health, safety, and welfare of students and school staff. Protecting students' safety and well-being includes compliance with the requirements of federal civil rights law. Our students' rights must be protected even during times of national emergency, although we may do so in ways that are different than during other times. To that end, in this presentation, my colleagues and I will provide an overview of the resources OCR has issued to assist schools as they navigate the COVID-19 pandemic. Links to all documents that we mention are available in the description box below this video and on the OCR website.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, there have been a number of news reports regarding stereotyping, harassment, and bullying directed at persons perceived to be of Chinese American or, more generally, Asian descent, including students. Among these incidents are instances of so-called Zoom bombing, where online classes are disrupted by individuals spewing racist and vulgar content. Ethnic harassment or bullying exacerbates hatred, harms students, and is never justified. Schools should take special care to ensure that all students are able to learn and study in an environment that is healthy, safe, and free from bias or discrimination. Moreover, Title VI requires that every post-secondary, secondary, or elementary school that receives federal funds take appropriate action to investigate or otherwise determine what occurred when responding to reports of bullying and harassment of students based on actual or perceived race, color, or national origin. Additionally, school officials may not rely on assumptions or stereotypes related to race, color, or national origin in identifying students who may have recently traveled to a country with widespread transmission of coronavirus or who may otherwise be at risk of coronavirus infection. For more information, please see Assistant Secretary Kenneth Marcus's March 4th letter to education leaders and the Department's March 16th fact sheet. The Department's May 12, 2020 document entitled Questions and Answers for Post-Secondary Institutions Regarding the COVID-19 National Emergency addresses several key points relating to post-secondary institutions' responsibilities. If a post-secondary institution has suspended instruction or is only offering distance learning, the institution is still required to continue with their investigations of harassment complaints pending or made under Title IX and other civil rights statutes. Institutions must still accept harassment complaints if they are offering only distance learning. If an institution's methods for receiving student and employee complaints of discrimination have changed as a result of a COVID-19 interruption, the institution should promptly notify its students and employees of such changes. Institutions may not institute a blanket policy putting all investigations or disciplinary proceedings on hold until campuses resume normal operations. There may be some circumstances where Title IX investigatory methods or timetables will be impacted by social distancing or other issues raised by the current crisis. If an institution has suspended instruction or is only offering distance learning, it may modify its Title IX procedures for resolving complaints due to the current circumstances, but there are limitations. On May 19, 2020, the department published its Title IX final regulations addressing sexual harassment and due process requirements for students accused of sexual harassment. This rule is effective August 14, 2020. We encourage post-secondary institutions to read the full text for further clarification on these and other issues.
In the wake of COVID-19, elementary, secondary, and post-secondary schools across the country have grappled with how to provide required services to students with disabilities. No one wants to have learning come to a halt across America due to the COVID-19 outbreak. The Department of Education does not want to stand in the way of good faith efforts to educate students online. At the same time, school officials have an obligation to avoid discrimination on the basis of disability under Section 504 and Title II, while cooperating with public health authorities to ensure that students with disabilities have access to the school's education program. It is important to note that federal disability law does not present an insurmountable barrier to remote education, also known as distance, virtual, or online learning. The department released a March 16th fact sheet and a March 21st supplemental fact sheet to provide guidance for schools as they navigate this challenging time. Here are several key principles from these fact sheets. Federal disability law allows for flexibility in determining how to meet the individual needs of students with disabilities. Ensuring compliance with Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act and Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act should not prevent any school from offering educational programs through distance instruction. Although federal law requires distance instruction to be accessible to students with disabilities, it does not mandate specific methodologies. Where technology itself imposes a barrier to access, or where educational materials simply are not available in an accessible format, educators may still meet their legal obligations by providing children with disabilities equally effective alternate access to the curriculum or services provided to other students. For example, if a teacher who has a blind student in her class is working from home and cannot distribute a document accessible to that student, she can distribute to the rest of the class an inaccessible document and, if appropriate for the student, read the document over the phone to the blind student or provide the blind student with an audio recording of a reading of the document aloud. School districts must provide a free and appropriate public education consistent with the need to protect the health and safety of students with disabilities and those individuals providing education, specialized instruction, and related services to these students. The department understands that, during this national emergency, schools may not be able to provide all services in the same manner they are typically provided. For example, while some schools might choose to safely and in accordance with state law provide certain services to some students in person, it may be unfeasible or unsafe for some institutions during emergency school closures to provide hands-on physical therapy, occupational therapy, or tactile sign language educational services. Many disability-related modifications and services may be effectively provided online. These may include, for instance, extensions of time for assignments, videos with accurate captioning or embedded sign language interpreting, accessible reading materials, and many speech or language services through video conferencing. Where, due to the global pandemic and resulting closures of schools, there has been an inevitable delay in providing services to students with disabilities, or even making decisions about how to provide services, schools must make an individualized determination whether and to what extent compensatory services may be needed when the schools resume normal operations. Finally, the Department's May 12, 2020 document entitled Questions and Answers for Post-Secondary Institutions Regarding the COVID-19 National Emergency, previously mentioned in this presentation, addresses several issues, including distance learning and serving students with disabilities at those institutions. For example, institutions must still meet the requirements of Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and other federal disability statutes. Post-secondary institutions should continue to educate students online even as they develop and improve their ability to meet the requirements of federal disability law. Students with disabilities at post-secondary institutions must receive academic adjustments, auxiliary aids and services, and reasonable modifications in policies, practices, and procedures where doing so would not impose an undue burden nor cause a fundamental alteration to the service, program, or activity. In 2019, OCR initiated a national effort to address online accessibility for individuals with disabilities by creating a national web accessibility team. Each of OCR's 12 regional offices has representation on the team. Full-time information technology accessibility consultants assist the team in the areas of testing and remediation. Team members help schools, libraries, and their vendors to better understand how to remediate or avoid altogether technological barriers to access for individuals with disabilities. While the work of OCR's Web Accessibility Team predates the COVID-19 national emergency, its work is timely for institutions facing new questions at the intersection of distance learning and disability laws. Our Web Accessibility Team can be reached via email at ocrwebaccessta@ed.gov. Additionally, you can watch the OCR short webinar created by our Web Accessibility Team on online education and website accessibility.
This video has covered documents that have been issued by OCR. Other offices within the department have produced helpful documents for parents and educators. For example, for more information on providing services to students with disabilities, please see documents put out by the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services. Additionally, the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education has put out documents that relate to English language learners and migratory children. For the most up-to-date information from around the department on COVID-19, please visit the department's Information and Resources for Schools and School Personnel, available at www.ed.gov/coronavirus.
This short video has covered many different topics. Please consult the documents themselves for the full range of information provided. The links are provided to you in the video notes below. You can also find these documents as well as other information about OCR at www.ed.gov/OCR. If you have questions or would like additional information or technical assistance, please contact OCR's Center for Outreach, Prevention, Education, and Non-Discrimination at open@ed.gov.